This is Two Teachers Chat with your hosts, Brenda McCrate and Peggy Wilbur.
Hi, Brenda.
Hi, Peggy.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. Today,
Yes.
I was hoping we would talk a little bit about student engagement.
Uh-huh.
Do you have a favorite silver bullet that
All right.
you especially like?
I do.
Okay.
For engagement. Now, this is not a silver bullet for everything because there are no single silver bullets.
Okay.
Just
one of
hear me
one
on
of the
that.
important ones. Right.
But I have found that pair shares, or sometimes they're called turn and talk, is a silver bullet both for engagement because you will get kids engaged on such a larger scale than when you just have them individually raise their hand and you call on them, or you randomly call on children, but they're all individual.
And they're just talking sort of back at you, which means
Exactly.
that most of the class isn't talking at the time or thinking or engaged. Or
Absolutely.
motivated.
And
Okay.
as much as we stress, we listen to each person in the class, and we will wait for everybody to be listening to Joe.
Right.
They might be quiet, but that does not mean they're listening.
Right.
The other piece is when you are talking, you're engaging more of your brain when you're talking on an academic subject. I mean, we do not want children to turn and talk to their neighbor and talk about red Ferraris unless that's what you're teaching.
Or their new shoes.
Or their new shoes. So posing questions and having either very short or quite involved long parent shares is vital to engagement, and also you can use it to informally assess what the children actually do understand and what they don't. You can reinforce just things that need to be recalled by a real short, just parent share, tell your neighbor, and then have them repeat it back. And now everybody chorally repeat it back to me because we want to memorize this part of the cell or
Right.
whatever it is. But you can also have those wonderful conversations and discussions and academic discourse that we want on a small scale, not small group, not whole class, which is where we want to go eventually, but even as young as kindergarten. I have seen and watched these beautiful discussions on what kind of person do you think Goldilocks was? I mean, I know that sounds silly, but in kindergarten, it's a very vital question. And discussion, paraphrasing. So in my pair share, the first thing you're going to want to do is teach them how to pair share. And that is up to you. I say, look at your partner, lean in a little, be listening when it's your turn to listen, and they'll listen when it's their turn. Some teachers have their whole body turn, knee to knee, eye to eye. Especially the little ones, that's very good.
So let me back up for a second. So the teacher's teaching new content,
Right.
or a new skill, whatever. And so the students have access quickly to a partner. They already know who their partner is.
Well,
How do you set
and
that
it
up?
can depend.
Okay.
If they're sitting on the carpet, it can just be turn to your next door neighbor. Some teachers have assigned seating on the carpet.
Okay.
Some, you have assigned seating in desks. And so you can carefully choose who they're going to be. And you might choose an elbow partner, which means turning this way, or an across the way partner, which is this way. And you vary that. Sometimes you let them choose. They need a break to get up out of their seat. So you say something like, we're going to get out of our seat and I'm going to let you choose your partner. You have to the count of 3 to build a bridge with that partner, which means just hold hands or touch hands or bump fists or whatever they're comfortable with. And choose wisely. Because otherwise I get to choose.
How do you keep a child from being left out?
Oh, for me, that's the culture you build right away. And if someone is standing next to you and there's no one near them, would you make a 3 and include them.
Okay.
Because we always include everybody. Sometimes, especially if it's a very difficult person to partner with,
Yes.
and I have an odd number, I will
will
be their partner for
Yeah.
a while. Sometimes you just pick that nurturing soul in your classroom, and for a while they're the partner. When they can't stand it anymore, you pick another nurturing
Right.
soul. It's good for the nurturing souls. They like it.
It might even be this week.
Yeah.
You know, let's
You're
do
gonna
this.
be
Yep.
Susie's
Okay, so
partner.
go back and tell us sort of the levels of parent share. So as you were saying, the first, I'm calling them levels. The first is recall. They repeat back.
So that might be with your rules at the beginning of the year, anything you just want them to memorize.
Right.
So you say, alrighty, we need to know when,
You could do a vocabulary word.
right,
You know,
What
this
does-
word is
what does pretend mean?
right.
Pretend means to make something up. So turn to your partner, and when I say go, I want you to say to each other what pretend means. So you say eye to eye, knee to knee, and you say ready, set, go. Pretend.
Pretend means something. Oh,
No,
just say the
pretend.
word.
Pretend.
Pretend.
It means
means
making something up.
something up. Good.
Now,
And see how fast that was.
fast, and then you say turn back to me, and you say I heard everybody say pretend means making something up. Great, let's do the next one. Now, I noticed that you were a little behind me. You were the perfect example of, say, an ELL student who might not have the words, but the partner gives it to them. So that's one level, okay? Now, before you do anything, though, you teach them how to pair and share with something they're very comfortable with, like their favorite movie, their favorite TV show, their favorite action hero, something they don't have to think about. And they're just practicing looking at the other person and listening and taking turns. And one trick I do is I say, Peggy, tell me what Brenda said. Brenda, tell me what Peggy said. And right away they think you're always going to do that, and you don't. But then they're listening. And if the first time you say, Peggy, tell me what Brenda said, and Peggy looks at you blankly, you say, Brenda, whisper it to her. And then Peggy knows there's no real embarrassment there,
Right.
and we're good to go.
Right.
Then the next level would be more
Give
thinking,
examples.
giving
Right.
giving an example of
So
something.
of when maybe you know of someone that pretended, when you
Right.
pretended.
Tell your partner about a time that you had a lot of fun pretending. And here's where you might want to do, little kids love this. I don't always do it with the bigger kids. Because hopefully by then they've done some of this, and you can say to them, choose who's going to go first. This also allows the ELL student to listen to the non-ELL student say whatever they're going to say with a complete sentence. But sometimes you model that. You say, now if I were going to say it, I would say, I loved pretending when I was in a play with my brother and sister, and I pretended to be Cinderella. And my parents watched us. It was wonderful. Did you hear how I made a complete sentence? That's what I want you to do. Then you'd turn, and if they're older kids, you'd say, okay, one of you go first, and then the other. Little kids, I love to touch the top of their heads and say, you're peanut butter, you're jelly, you're peanut butter, you're jelly. Peanut butter goes first today.
That's great, yeah.
Jelly goes second.
I do,
They
the
love
one
it.
who's closest to the window speaks first.
Yep,
The person who's the shortest speaks first.
yep,
Whatever.
whatever.
But,
Mix it up, it's fun, and they laugh and they giggle. But so mix that up. That would be the second level. That's also a short one. Maybe 30 seconds apiece. Doesn't have
so
to be
it's
for a long time.
application.
Application
what-
question, right. Then you're going to be able to ask the deeper, the inferring questions, okay? So what kind of a person do you think Goldilocks was, and how do you know? And peanut butter goes first, and please tell your partner, and then your partner will talk. And remember, you might have to tell me what the other person said. Or you might have to tell me what both people say. So really, really listen. And they can do that. And that's a deeper, and that's going to last for a little bit. You know?
Yes, that'll be a few minutes of
Yeah.
talking.
Because it's a higher level question. We
Right.
want to give them the wait time to really come up with a good answer. And sometimes they will just kind of look at each other and go,
And sometimes I go, how did I ask that question that I'm not seeing anybody answer it?
Right.
Because they want to answer it. They do want to
Yes.
engage. And I'm like, okay, let me try the question again, you know, and you know, you sort of backtrack and go, do they understand what pretend means? Okay, now let me give you how I want you to start the sentence. You know, one time I pretended to be.
right.
And then you can,
Yes.
you know, talk
And
to each other.
modeling is always wonderful. I model for everything. I think one
Everything we want to come out of
of my, right,
them
needs to be
be
shown.
needs to be shown
Right.
so they can see it and hear it and feel
Mirror
it.
neurons,
Mhm.
the other silver bullet, which we can get into later. Now, one of my teachers said once, I thought pair shares had to be like 3-4 minutes. I said, no, I do a lot that are 30 seconds or less.
Right.
If you're a specials teacher, if you're a high school or middle school teacher, you know how that bell or the clock and the kids are all ready to go up and you think, I need them to talk about this. I want them to process this because pair share not only engages everybody and you get like triple the number of hands when you say who wants to share than you do
Than
if
you
you
would
just
have.
do individual.
Right.
But also it's putting it in their brains, it's parking it in their brains. If my partner has a great answer and my answer is, so-so, I'm parking my partner's answer back in my brain along with my little so-so answer. And the things that I'm parking in my brain just grow exponentially. But I have been a specials teacher. And there's 30 seconds, the teacher's at the door, I've got the other class at the other door, and I think, but I need them to process this. So I say to them, as you are getting in line, which also gets them in line on task, haha.
Right.
As you are getting in line, talk to the person next to you. Please do a pair share about how you might use the scientific process, or how did we use the scientific process today? What part did we focus on? And they have a chart up so they can look, and they're saying, oh,
Nice.
we really worked hard on the hypothesis today. We were making all those predictions, and it was so good. So they don't have to be long, but you have to teach how to do them. And if you get kids who have been taught before, say thank you to the teachers before, because it will make your job easier. But pair share is one of my silver bullets.
Very good.
And now I need my other silver bullet,
right.
which
Which
is
is
coffee.
coffee.
So grab some silver bullet or grab some coffee and go look at a lesson plan and figure out where you could put a few parent chairs.
Thank you for watching 2 Teachers Chat. Until next time, and remember, teachers touch lives forever.